Did something happen to my internet? Oops. All right. Hi, y'all. This is Jace, she, they, and you found Jace Reads Romance, a community dedicated to empowering women about sex and sexuality through the reading of romance novels. It is book haul time, and I think I've forgotten to say this in the last couple months, but part of the reason why this year in particular I've really committed to purchasing books is everything that was in the rhetoric in the current administration's plans for the United States of America. And there's language in their plans that includes things like censoring sexually explicit materials, which include romance novels. The language is very vague, but it certainly does include that, and certain states have already made moves to try and censor what materials can be sold in their spaces. And so I think for me, having a physical library that is in my possession, books that are mine, that cannot be taken away, they cannot be lost in an email, they cannot be rescinded by a company that I purchased them from, is really meaningful because I can continue to share physical books. I can be a resource for words that maybe were lost. I can be a record of all of that. That is why in my books, I'm also being very transparent about the diversity of my purchasing. And I'm not necessarily judging. I aim for certain things, but I've never taken stock of what I purchased in the past, so I can't really compare or judge what I'm purchasing now for that. But I do aim to purchase diversely. Let's get into the numbers. In the month of August, I purchased 36 physical books. My notes are up there. 14 of them were by authors of color, which is 39.89%, and 8 of them were queer stories, 22.22%. So I'm pretty happy with those stats as they align with my reading stats as well. I would love to have the books that I'm purchasing or my library reflect my diverse reading goals. In these wrap-ups, there are typically I think I say 4 categories. It's growing. There are trophies, books that I read in some other medium that I have purchased to have in my library, book series or authors that I'm continuing, and there are a couple different subcategories in this one. I've added books from events that I've gone to, ticketed events, typically with the author that I have purchased a book along with my ticket. And there are new to me authors, which I spend a lot of time with because if they're new to me, they might be new to you. And the last are special editions, books that in some way, shape, or form have a little something extra with them. The first category I will be going through are trophies. The first trophy is Give Me a Reason by J.C. Lee. This is one of the books that I got to read as an ARC. I like J.C. Lee. I read That Prince Is Mine, and so I got this book in a physical copy. It is a retelling of Persuasion, so if you're a Jane Austen fan, this one will be for you. The next book is Well, Actually by Maisie Eddings. Honestly, I have a few Maisie Eddings books, but I got an ARC of this. Yes, an ARC. You'll hear that sometimes, especially with these trophies, because I've read the book already, and got a physical copy for myself. What I really like is that she has 2 queer main characters. Even though this is a straight presenting romance, male, female, both of these people are queer, and it is a huge part of their identity and this story. These last 2, Scythe and Sparrow by Bryn Weaver and Learn My Lesson by Katie Robert, they're almost doubles. I've read them before. I have copies, but Scythe and Sparrow came out with a Barbara version, so the little raccoon, as you can see, and the entire Wicked Villain series is coming out in these glorious special editions that have some bonus material, annotations, kink information. So I am collecting a new set, and I have given my old set to someone else. This is larger than I thought it was. The next category I'll go over are book event books. They're a bunch of hardcovers, so it's really heavy. The first chunk of these books are tickets that I bought while I was knowingly out of town. Part of the reason why I still buy tickets to these events is not only to support the space or the venue that is hosting the event and to make sure that there's interest, but also, because I really like that author, I don't have the book. I was planning to pre-order it in some way, shape, or form. And the ticket gave me an opportunity not only to pre-order from typically local indie bookstores, but also get the book signed by the author. The first of the books that I got but didn't attend the event for is When Javi Dumped Mari by Mia Sosa. I was so thrilled that the last chapter did this, and I'm sad because I have other Mia Sosa books, but in there, it's signed. But because I wasn't there, I wasn't able to get the rest of them signed. But this was number 4. This was number 1. Book number 2, The X-Files by Jessica Joyce. I do have a copy of this, but she is one of my good friend Caitlin's favorite authors, and so I also wanted to support Caitlin. I gave her my other books, so now all of my Jessica Joyce books are signed, and I have an extra copy of The X-Files that is signed. Maybe we'll do a giveaway in some other platform. The next book is Mine by Cleo Evans. I did get to read this as an ARC, so I have already read this book, but Cleo was at the last chapter. She's now local to Chicago, and so I love getting to support her. I just think incredible writer. There are some goodies in this that are not safe for you to see, and I just adore the pants off of Cleo Evans. I think she's an amazing writer, so I was thrilled to get a physical copy of this book that I really enjoyed, though it isn't a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It really isn't. The next book is Verity Fox and the Curse of Foxfire by Don Martin. I got this book purely because I saw Don talking about books and the world as it is on the internet. This is a middle grade book, so I honestly don't plan on reading it, but I do have people in my life with children, and so I will make sure that a child will get this book in the future. This is a magical and queer story, and I think that especially for young kids, I know very little about middle grade. I think that middle grade didn't really exist in my brain as a genre, and I certainly don't look for it, but as much import as I've been giving to young adults romance, I think having books for middle grade and younger is really important to have that diversity representation, so that at a young age, kids are already learning that they are accepted and they are loved and they are welcome into this world. So that is the reason why I bought a ticket for this event, to support this book and this author, and the stories like these being told to young children. The last book in this category is Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I heard queer lesbian vampires. I haven't read The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I think I would like it, but it hasn't gotten to me yet. But they were coming. I was very excited. This was a ticket that I bought ambitiously. The event was the day before I was leaving on my massive trip for the summer, and I thought, no, I'll definitely be totally packed and ready to go and able to attend the event. And last minute I went, no, there's no way that I can attend this event. And I had very dear friends collect my books, so get yourself some book friends and let me know if you've read it. I've heard good things from the people I know who've started it. The DC Stars series by Chelsea Curto. Chelsea was at the last chapter. You might notice a theme. And I bought the whole series that is out so far of the DC Stars, which is these 4 books. I believe there are at least 2 more planned in this series. And one of the things that I really like about Chelsea, though her books are primarily MF, she does play with a lot of those tropes. So this has a female hockey player in the NHL, and the most recent book has a person with a limb difference as one of the main characters. So while it's not necessarily the diversity that I'm tracking, she's not an author of color, these are MF stories, there is diversity outside of the mainstream being represented in this series, and so I want to support that as well. I think that writing the same kind of person is boring, and everybody should get to see themselves as the lead in a romance, and that's important. The final book from a book event is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. I honestly have very little interest in reading the other books, maybe Babel by R.F. Kuang. I don't necessarily like that type of literary fiction. It makes me sad. I don't like being sad. But I really wanted to see her speak because I've heard so much about her. I've heard just about her intelligence. I've heard her knowledge. She's a PhD student at Yale. She's brilliant, and she did not disappoint. If you have never heard her speak, do so. She is just enthralling and enchanting to listen to, and the amount of work and thought that she has put into this book made me want to read it even more. It's probably the closest thing she's ever written to a romance, and maybe ever will write to a romance, based on what she said her next book is about. It was a really wonderful opportunity to see her, and this book, I didn't even know it at the time, it's just stunning. Look at those edges. Moving on to the first subcategory in the authors I have read / purchased. These are series that I've actually started, and these books continue in that series. The first one is Love Arranged by Lauren Asher. I read Love Redesigned, the first book in this series. Loved it. Did not realize how big it was because I read it on an e-reader. Went back to a previous series that's kind of connected to this one, and I really did not like it. And then I bought Love Redesigned as a physical book, realized how large it was, got Love Unwritten, was so intimidated by how large it was, but I also needed to have the complete series. So I have all 3 of them as physical books. I have not read 2. I have not read this one yet. Pucking Strong by Emily Rath. I don't care what other people say. I love the glitter covers. They make me so happy. I'm obsessed with the series. I think that her writing is incredible. I think her spice is incredible. This is Teddy and Henrik's story, so it is not poly, but it is queer. And I've heard incredible things about the book. I cannot wait. She is also a chunker, so she might have to wait a little bit. The final book is Gabriella and His Grace by Liana de la Rosa. I have loved the Luna Sisters. The first 2 books were a delight. This is the 3rd book in the series. I'm pretty sure it's the last book. I'm so sad that this is the last one, but Gabriella is a character that I've gotten to know over these last few years. So I'm really excited to see how her book finishes. These are interconnected standalones. In fact, all of these, I think, are interconnected standalones. Pucking Strong truly is, and this one, I think, timeline-wise, is the last one, but you most likely have to read the first 2. Honestly, the Jacksonville race is insane, and people keep creating tandem read charts because a lot of things overlap between the books, which I find overwhelming, honestly, but I also don't love it in the books. But that's for a different video. The second category in the books that I own, or I've read these authors before, but these don't continue a series that I have already started reading, is this pile. First book in the pile is Zom Rom-Com by Olivia Dade. I have read other books by Olivia Dade. This is her entrance, I guess, into PNR, which I love. She writes plus size FMCs every single time, and she also writes plus size MMCs. I loved Shipwrecked so much. That is just such an incredible book. And I love a PNR. So I was really excited when she got into this. The next book is Love at First Sighting by Mallory Marlowe. I have the first book in this series. I have not read it, which is why it is in this category. Now, I keep being told I have to. I'm told it's incredible, the first book. So I want to read it. I want to keep going. I just haven't yet. Next, we have Looking for a Group by Alexis Hall. Y'all know I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Alexis Hall, but I was told that these 2 meet online, which I think is honestly really rare for a lot of modern romances. There's a lot more physical meet cutes, so I was really curious to see how they were going to create a modern online romance without a weird hidden identity reveal kind of situation. And maybe there is one, but I'm willing to give Alexis Hall another chance. The next book I have is Anywhere With You by Ellie Palmer. Ellie Palmer wrote 4 Weekends and a Funeral, which I haven't read because I'm afraid it's going to be awkward, but I did like the idea of this story and I wanted to continue reading because I've heard that the first book of hers is really good. I just have a lot of trouble with awkward, so it takes me a lot to read something that I know is potentially going to be awkward. The next book is another J.C. Lee book, King Foretold. I have Nine-Tailed. I want to read Nine-Tailed. I do. It is actually on my TBR for September. It is behind me. You might be able to see it. This is the second book in that series, and so of course I was going to get it. This book is Unrivaled Love by Erin Marie Bassett. This is a hockey series of hers. I had the first book unsigned, and she was going to be at an event I went to. I wasn't planning on buying books at that event. I did buy books at that event, but it was in September, so it doesn't count. I was looking for the second book in the series, and this is actually a signed copy that I found, because it turns out she is local to Chicago. So it is here, signed already by her. Next is Alchemy and a Cup of Tea by Rebecca Thorne. I know, I need to read the series. I have the whole thing. I don't know why cozy does not always excite me, because I feel like cozy means light spice. And I just sometimes don't have the energy to go into things knowing that there's going to be very little spice. So if I'm wrong and there is good spice in these books, please let me know in the comments. The last book in this category is Heartstrings by Ivy Fairbanks. I have the first book that she wrote, Morbidly Yours, and I did not realize that Ivy Fairbanks is differently abled. She is in a wheelchair, and she was really funny. I saw a bunch of the videos that she was doing to promote this book, and I went, yeah, sure, let's get it. Don't judge me. These are the only new to me author books. That's it. And the funny thing is, Ambar Cordova is not new to me. I know her. She's been at multiple conferences that I've been to, and I just finally said, I'm gonna buy the whole series. And luckily at Romance Bookstore Day, the last chapter had, literally these were the last ones. It was this entire series in a row with this little extra novella, and I just reached over, grabbed it, and went, you're mine. So I will be seeing her later. I will be getting these signed. I have loved every panel she's been on. She's so entertaining. She's so sweet. And I'm sad that it's taken me this long to get her books, but there's a little bit of a mix-up about me seeing her in September, and I'm looking forward to getting to know her through her writing and not just through her speaking next. Because maybe you have never heard of Ambar Cordova, I'm going to read the description from the first book in this series and from the novella, which is a little bit separate. I typically do that with new to me authors, even though it doesn't feel new to me because I've known of her for so long. So this is the Baker Oaks series. She has other books, but this one is Baker Oaks. She was the one that got away. He was the one that stayed behind. I was in love with Jake Clark. He was my best friend and my soulmate. We planned our future together, and it made sense until one day I just walked away from it all. I never told him why. I had my reasons for keeping the truth from him, even when it meant breaking my own heart for 10 years. How much can you forgive before you shut the door on forever? Ooh. That is the first book in the series. And the reason I'm only reading the first book is I'm assuming these are interconnected standalones and you should read them in order, or at least that's how I'm going to treat them. And it looks like this is a little holiday novella, The Gift Rarely Given. Christmas has never been this hot or eventful. Falling asleep on a bench in the Marina's parking lot on Amelia Island was not in my plans for last night. Neither is being woken up by Alex Haddock, former QB for the Jacksonville Rhinos and a grumpy media nightmare. I don't even know who he is, but one thing leads to another, and we end up in the back of his truck for a steamy night. It's supposed to be just that one time, but now he's here asking me, Livy Sands, curvy hot mess express, and everyone's best friend, to be his fake girlfriend, so the media thinks he's settling down. I do love a fake dating situation. Which one should I start with? It's kind of weird because I don't have many new to me authors, and I usually read the backs of those books. This might be a really short haul, even though it's 36 books. But the last category are special editions. If you have not watched last month's, you know that I have decided to spice things up with my wardrobe and wear the Probably Smut t-shirt that I get every month that matches the book. The book that matches my t-shirt is The Bad Boy Rule by Maren Moore. This is the cover. The one and only rule: don't fall for the bad boy. As with every month, I will show you all the fun things it comes with. Besides the t-shirt, it comes with stickers that match the aesthetic and also are related to the book, and color coordinated annotated tabs, which I love, and I've just been keeping with the books themselves because I will definitely forget what goes with what. I also, through Probably Smut, got Through the Dust by Amber Palmer. This is the second book in this series, and it matches the first book in the series, which was either June or July's box. So I have a matching first book in the series, and they made the second book in the series, and they plan to do so for the rest of the series. These next two books are both from Cover Snob. Look at these designs. They are Danielle Allen's two books. I don't even know if there's a series name for these books, but Curvy Girl Summer and Plus Size Player. I have regular editions of both of these, but I wanted the special editions from Cover Snob. I adore them. I've really loved my subscription. I've really loved the bonus content that they make. They are switching things up in the new year. Please go look at their Instagram and their founder and send them all the love and care in the world as they readjust for 2026. The last special edition is also Cover Snob. It is outdrawn by Deanna Gray. I have the regular edition of this book, but this is a completely new edition, not just sprayed edges. It's a naked hardcover. It's a new design. There are, bonuses. It came with a bunch of goodies that just fell on the floor. It's got beautiful end pages, both front and back. I'm not gonna lie, this book is a lot thinner than the regular paperback that I have, but I just think it's stunning. There's gold embossing on the book itself, and I love the way that these two look and the comic book style of this edging. It is their first completely original special edition, and I think they nailed it. Like, don't you? That is everything that I purchased in the month of August. Let me know in the comments if you have any of these books, what you've read from these books, what you purchased in the month of August. Make sure you subscribe so you get notified next month when I do my September haul, and you can see the very delayed What I Read books and episodes of the podcast all on YouTube. Thank you so much, and until next time, this is Jace, holding space for you.